Okay, so today we're really going to dive into something huge. Generative AI. You've probably heard the hype by now.
Yeah.
But this is not just some, passing fad in the tech world.
Right.
We're talking about a potential complete game changer here, something that could rewrite the rules for just about everything.
Yeah, it's true. What we're looking at with this generative AI, or as you're going to hear us call it a lot, Gen AI, it really is a total fundamental change. This isn't just like a new tool. It's like we're building a new foundation for like the whole technological world.
It's like imagine instead of upgrading to the new iPhone, you're switching to a device that's just operating on completely new principles.
Right.
Like that's the scope that we're talking about today.
Yeah.
And at the heart of this whole shift is this idea of Gen AI as like the new operating system.
Yeah, that's the analogy that you hear a lot of experts using, and I think it's a really good one. Just like Windows or iOS way back when, change how we use our computers, how we use our smartphones now, Gen AI is really looking like it's going to change how we interact with, well, everything.
Okay, so for those who maybe are just tuning in, maybe they're not as deep in the tech world,
Yeah.
break it down for us. What exactly does it mean when we say that Gen AI is like an operating system?
So it's really about this idea of a base layer, like we use Windows or iOS as the base layer, and then we build everything else on top of that. Right now, we use apps for very specific tasks on top of that base layer.
Yeah.
But in a Gen AI world, those tasks might be handled by something way more intuitive, something that learns and adapts as you use it to what you need.
That's really exciting and also, I don't know, a little unnerving, right? It's like, what happens to my apps then in this new world that's coming?
Well, that's the really fascinating part, right? So if you think of it this way, if Gen AI is the new operating system, the apps of this new world are something called AI agents.
Okay.
And what these AI agents are, instead of just, you telling it to do something and it does it, it's more like a proactive partner.
Partners. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're not just talking about something that's going to like write my emails for me or generate images. We're talking about AI that's actually going to be able to like understand what I'm trying to do, what my goals are, maybe even anticipate like what I need and take actions to make that happen, all while it's learning and getting better over time.
Exactly.
That's a lot.
It is. And this shift isn't just happening in the software that, we use every day on our phones or laptops. This Forbes article that we're looking at today, they call it a full stack revolution.
Okay, full stack. I'm having flashbacks to my computer science classes.
Yeah.
Like, what does that even...
I'll keep it simple. Don't worry. Basically, what it means is that every level of technology is impacted by this. So think of it like we're building a skyscraper. It's not just about, what that fancy penthouse looks like at the very top. You need that strong foundation. You need the right materials for every level of that building. And that's what's happening here with this new tech.
So then what are, like, the building blocks? What's the foundation of this Gen AI skyscraper that we're building?
So it starts with the hardware. And we're not just talking your average computer chips anymore. You've got companies like NVIDIA, Grok. They're developing these super powerful specialized processors, and they're designed just for AI workloads. Like, imagine the difference between, I don't know, a regular car engine and then the engine they put in a Formula One race car. It's that level of performance that we're talking about.
So we're, like, building, like, specialized brains for these AI systems to run on.
Yeah. Basically.
Okay.
And just like a really powerful engine needs the right fuel, it needs the right infrastructure to run properly. These AI chips need massive, massive amounts of data and computing power. And that's where cloud platforms come in.
Okay. The cloud. Well, that's where, like, all of our data lives anyway, right?
Right, exactly. So think of it this way. Like, you wouldn't store your entire music library on your phone. You stream it, right? From the cloud.
Right.
Similarly, these AI models need access to these huge, huge amounts of data and computing power. And that's what cloud platforms like AWS and Azure provide.
Okay, so we've got the hardware, like the powerful engine. We've got the cloud. That's like the fuel, the infrastructure. What else, like, makes up this whole foundation?
Well, so with all of that power and data in place, now we come to, like, the heart of it all. The AI models themselves.
Yeah.
These models, things that you might have heard of like Llama or Gemma, these are the brains of the operation.
Yeah.
They're trained on these massive data sets, and they're what enables everything from, being able to understand language to generating images.
So it's like we're creating a whole new type of intelligence, one that can process information and learn in ways that we couldn't have even imagined just a couple years ago.
Right.
But this is where it starts to get really interesting.
Yeah.
Because these models themselves, that's just the beginning, right?
Mhm.
What takes this from, oh, cool technology to this is going to completely change my life
Yeah.
are these AI agents that we keep hearing about.
Right. Yeah, you're totally right. The models are impressive and all, but they really are just tools in a way. It's the AI agents that are really going to be transformative.
Okay.
It's kind of like we've built this amazing engine for a self-driving car, but now we need something, we need to design the AI that's actually going to be able to navigate the roads,
Right.
get us where we need to go, avoid the obstacles, make the decisions. That's the AI agent.
Okay, now that's an analogy I can get behind.
Right.
So these AI agents are like the drivers in
Yeah.
this new Gen AI world. But like, how does that actually work? Paint me a picture. Give me an example.
Okay, so imagine this. You're planning a trip, right?
Okay.
Instead of having to hop between all these different apps, websites, book your flights here, book a hotel over here, find a rental car over there,
Yeah.
you have one AI agent and it's dedicated to travel.
Okay, less time on hold with customer service, more time on the beach. I like it already.
Exactly. But it's more than just convenience, right? So you tell this AI agent where you want to go, what your budget is, your travel style, maybe you've got dietary restrictions, maybe you really like museums, whatever it is.
So it's like a superpowered travel agent that actually like knows what I want better than I do.
Exactly. It takes all that information and it doesn't just book the flights and the hotels. It puts together this whole personalized itinerary. It's got restaurant recommendations, sightseeing suggestions. It'll book your tickets to, a show that you might like or something. It's like having a personal assistant with you, but just for travel.
Okay, now I really see the use case here.
Yeah.
But it almost seems like we're not just talking about replacing apps on my phone. We're talking about a whole new way of interacting with technology.
Yeah.
Is the keyboard going to become obsolete? Is the mouse going to become obsolete? Am I just going to talk to my computer?
That's a really interesting question. And it gets to this core difference with AI agents. It's not just about doing things for us, things we already do. It's about this more natural, intuitive, personalized experience. Imagine a world where instead of you constantly checking your phone, reacting to notifications, trying to keep up with everything, your AI agents are just handling it in the background. Anticipating what needs to happen, taking care of it before you even have to think about it.
So less time on the hamster wheel of the digital world, more time actually getting things done in the real world.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost sounds too good to be true. Let's be real here for a second. This is a massive shift. Are we ready for this? Are we ready for AI to be making these decisions, even if it's just booking my flights or organizing my calendar?
Yeah, no, it's a huge change. And it's totally natural to kind of feel unsure about it.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about this technology. It's constantly evolving. It's really up to us to kind of, guide it, shape how it develops, how it's used. And this Forbes article, it really talks about the challenges here, especially for, business leaders, CEOs, anybody who's got to figure out how to navigate this whole new world.
Yeah, that's probably keeping a lot of CEOs up at night. It's one thing to, read a headline, on a tech blog. It's another thing to be like, okay, how do I integrate this into my company, into my strategy? So what's the big takeaway here for somebody in that C-suite?
I think the article really drives this point home, embracing this new Gen AI stack. It's not really optional anymore. If you want to stay competitive, this is something that you have to look at. This isn't just upgrading your software. This is a total rethink. How are you approaching technology at a fundamental level?
It's almost like, if you were a car company back in the early 1900s and you said, you know what, we're sticking with horses, you're going to get left behind if you don't adapt.
Exactly. And it's not just about, being the first one out the gate or anything. It's about understanding what this tech can actually do. The possibilities here are really amazing. Imagine completely personalized marketing campaigns, supply chains that are totally optimized, entirely new products and services that we haven't even thought of yet, all powered by this technology.
Okay, now I can see the entrepreneurs listening, getting out their notebooks.
Yeah. But there's a big point here. The article emphasizes you need a new way of thinking, especially in IT departments. That traditional way of doing things just won't cut it in this new world.
Yeah, I think those server rooms with the blinking lights are probably starting to feel a little old-fashioned. So what needs to change? What does IT need to do to catch up?
Well, it's a whole new ballgame. These companies, they need to be thinking about that specialized AI hardware,
Right.
the stuff we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And having the cloud-based infrastructure that can actually handle these massive, massive amounts of data that these models need.
So it's out with the old, in with the cloud.
Pretty much, yes.
I mean, that's a pretty big change, even for someone like me who, like, I like to think I'm, on top of the tech,
Right.
but it's moving so fast.
It is. And that brings up another really important point from the article. And it's the idea that we need to be investing in AI skills, like across the board.
Okay.
This isn't just about, having a couple of data scientists in the basement somewhere.
Right.
This is about everybody from marketing and sales to customer service, product development.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to understand how this stuff works and how to use it.
Which is great for our listeners.
Right.
I mean, that could be them.
Exactly.
That could be anybody listening.
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
The article actually made a pretty bold statement. I think it's really interesting. They said that AI agents, they said they're going to be as common as apps are today.
Wow. Okay, so now we're talking about a world where these incredibly powerful AI agents are, like, actually running a lot of our lives.
Yeah.
Like, from, I don't know, booking my appointments to managing my finances, maybe even helping me make big life decisions. It's exciting, but it's also kind of, I don't know.
A little scary.
Yeah, more than a little scary.
It's true. It really is a technological revolution. And just like any revolution, there's a lot of possibility, but there's also a lot we don't know.
It makes you wonder, like, what parts of our lives are going to be most affected by this? Like, what's the part that's going to change the fastest?
Right. Imagine a world where doctors are using AI agents to help them diagnose diseases way more accurately, or scientists using it to, like, make these huge discoveries.
Yeah.
Or even, like, personalized education for every student based on how they learn best. I mean, the possibilities really are pretty much endless.
It's mind-blowing, but it can't all be good, right? Like, there's got to be some bumps in the road.
Of course. Of course. I mean, with any new technology, especially one this powerful, we need to be really thoughtful.
Yeah.
We need to be asking the tough questions.
Yeah.
About the ethics, about how we're going to use this responsibly.
Making sure it's used for good.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a lot to process. But I think that's what we do here, right?
Yeah.
We take these really complex topics, we try to break them down, hopefully give you some new ways to think about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And help you kind of navigate this crazy world that we're living in.
And most importantly, we want to get you curious. This is just the beginning. This is just scratching the surface of what AI can do and what it's going to mean.
Totally. Well, we covered a ton of ground today, from like the really basic building blocks of this whole Gen AI world to AI agents and what our future might look like. And it's a lot. So we want to hear from you.
Yeah.
What are you excited about? What freaks you out? What questions do you have? Let us know. Head over to our social media.
Yeah.
Share your thoughts, and we'll be sure to keep an eye out for all your questions and comments.
Absolutely. Keep learning, keep asking the good questions, and we'll keep diving deep into this world together.
See you next time.